Okay, morning. Michelle here again. I another morning in Ghana. For those who are tuning in for the first time, my name is Michelle. I left the US last year, May, for Ghana with my two daughters and my granddaughter. Never visited Ghana before that. Um, and we packed up, shipped a few things. I was living in a RV previously, so I didn't have furniture to move, but I am an art teacher, an artist, and I had stuff. So I got all of them packed, bought a crate and some boxes, and moved to Ghana. Now, there are a number of things that I have spoken about since I started this channel. And yesterday was the 2nd of February, so today is the 3rd of February. And I actually did a video yesterday that I deleted um, for a number of reasons, but this is like a part of what I did then. Um, I started out yesterday talking about a to-do list that I made of what I was planning to take care of yesterday in Ghana. And at the end of the day, I decided I had to split them in three, otherwise the video would be too long if I was going to talk about that to-do list. So one of the first things I want to talk about is when you get to Ghana, you have to, your passport is stamped with the duration, the time that you get to stay in the country. So to be honest, when I landed, I didn't think about that. It was when I was asked by she's not a sponsor, she was just somebody I met by another friend who facilitated me getting here. When she asked about the time that was stamped in my passport and I checked, I think I had gotten about 3 months. So I think we came here in May. I think we were supposed to be leaving about July, August. And to stay beyond that, I would have had to source not just my Ghana card, because you have to get a Ghana card when you get here, but I also had to get a resident permit stamped in my passport. And that had to be done before the time you are allotted expired. Otherwise, you would have to pay some sort of fee or fine for overstaying. So before I got here, I was told that I would need to save 800 US for each of us to look about that resident permit. So outside of the pictures and a couple of other things, we had to pay for printing certain documents when we were finally taken to the agent. I will say agent because obviously now, looking back, it wasn't an official government person who dealt with it. It was probably a private person. What got me going after yesterday was the amount of money that I spent then compared to what I'm hearing now. So that's one of the sad things about coming here and not knowing certain things. Even if persons are helping you, you don't know who is who. You don't know if they have an agenda. Not saying the person had an agenda. I'm just saying you just don't know who is who. So I ended up paying 2,400 US dollars plus other fees to sort out our resident permit. Yesterday, no, one of the things I wanted to do was sort out getting what they call a government health card. And it was while doing that and looking about that, I'm going to talk about that in another video because I don't want to this one to be too long. But it was during the day I got a call from a gentleman who I reached out to. I met him recently through a friend who told me that when she got here, she got 3 years on her resident permit, stamped in her passport. 3 years. Keep that in mind. 3 years. The 2,400 US that I paid gave me 1 year. So last year to this year. So it expires this year, June. 2,400. I keep saying it because every time I think about that amount of money, the young lady who got 3 years for the first time, because she was here 2 years before I came here, she got 3 years on her permit. She paid nothing like that. I'm trying to roll this out so that you guys understand the ramifications of some of these costs. Because I don't remember what cost she told me she paid for her 3 years, but I'm just hung up on the fact that she got 3 years for way less, because I know it comes nowhere close to. And for persons who don't understand my feelings, let's use that simple term, for persons who don't understand the feelings regarding the cost, at that time US was about somewhere between 11 and 12 cedis per US dollars. So it's not, if you measure tailor it to the US now, to the cost now, it's $10 last time I checked over the weekend. It was $10.95 cedis, 10 cedis, 95 pesos for 1 US. And at the time it was more. So it's not 8,000 that I spent, 8,000 cedis. I spent almost 10 or over 10,000 cedis for 1 year on my permit. And based on the cost, the young lady introduced me to the person who gave her the 3 years in that first year. Right? So she just came here and she got 3 years. The price that I got yesterday, because I ironed it out with the person she introduced me to, was, if I didn't know, I would end up paying 900 per person. Right? What I'm finding out too is that 900 would be per person for 1 year. If I'm going after 3 years, which I can, maximum I can get is 5 years. So it would be 5 nines 45, 4,500 cedis for 5 years. And I spent almost 10,000 or more for 1 year. Yeah. Well, if you look at the 800 US, oh, but it would be for person. I forgot that part. It's 800 for me, $800. So it's almost 10,000 or more than 10,000 for me only. So you're looking at over 40,000 cedis for all of us together last year when I came here. It's even more heart-wrenching. I just keep imagining what that money, just half of that, could have done to my house. But let me not digress. Yes. So if I go after renewal now, I pay 900 cedis, not 900 US, 900 cedis per person. And if I am going after 3 years, it would be 2,601, I think, for This is a quote that he gave me. 2,601 cedis for me. So it would be almost 10 for all of us together for 3 years. I reached out to another person who was referred to me. And by the time I got this information, I realized I could ask that other agent, because that person quoted 3,000, I think it was 558 cedis for me. And I told them that would be times 4. So I reached out again last night to find out how how much time would I get on the permit for that 3,500 cities. And the person said 1 year. So here is this person I was introduced to, who told me that if I was renewing now, I would pay 900 for 1 year. So it would be 900 times 3. I'm saying 27. I'm not sure how he got 2,600 and whatever. But even if it's 3,000 cities, it's 3,000 cities for 3 years, as opposed to 3,500 and odd for 1 year. And if it fluctuates a bit based on the value of the dollar, right? But the disparity in the prices is out of this world. And I'm just trying to put that 40 odd thousand cities out of my mind and move on, because I can't do anything about it. But I just had to share this because I'm not sure what your experiences are going to be when you get here. I'm just telling you how extreme it can be if you're not. I'm hoping this information can make you put persons who come in a better position to shop around and make sure they don't get shafted or scammed. I was also advised, before I forget this, that I can just walk into one of these immigration places and I pay just $60. So 600 and something cedis. Of course, that would fluctuate based on the value of the dollar. But at this point, it's about $60. $60 for per person for you to apply. What I'm not sure of, and I may end up checking, is that $60 for 1 year, or can you decide any amount a year? I suspect, based on what I'm hearing and based on how I've seen things going here, that the 60 is possibly just for a year permit. But even if it's 60 times 2, I don't know if their max is the same as I'm hearing, because let me tell you something about this place. Depending on who you talk to, you get different value for different services. And the services can range based on quality, depending on the person you have contact with. So even though this is the actual legit government place, they may be charging $60, but you may not be able to get more than a year or 2. And that's just kind of messed up. But I think that's a little bit like Jamaica. If you can dip in your pocket deep enough, your service can be different. But yes, $60 can get you your resident permit at a regular government immigration office, as opposed to a variety of prices. Because I just recently heard someone in a diaspora group I'm in post that she recently renewed hers for 5,500 cedis, I just don't know how many years she got, but I know it's either 2 or more, not less than the 2, because it it came out with this recent talk of the citizenship thing that they had going on, and the fact that if you're applying, you need to have at least 2 years on your permit. So I think she renewed with that in mind. And if it's 5,500 for 2 years, you're looking at 2,000 something for a year. Yes. So it's added to the value is added to based on the amount of years you want. Except that I didn't know that you could dictate the amount of years you got. Yeah. So that's for the resident permits. Um, Feel free to ask questions. Yes. Um, I'll do another video on the other to do that I did yesterday. One on the NHIS, that's a health, and another on the dental issues that we not having here, but it's culminating here in another way. All right, so I'll see you in another video, and I hope this information helped in some way. All right, see you again soon.